exciting to be unveiling these new change facilities here. Our government's been incredibly focused on delivering for sport at the elite level and right the way through to grassroots level as well. This facility hadn't received any love for a long period of time. Of course, we know that the change rooms here weren't unisex, they weren't fit for women to come and play here, and we know the Reds do an outstanding job, both the male team and the female team playing here at Hindmarsh Stadium. So we're really proud to be investing more than $50 million in the Hindmarsh Stadium. Of course, now we have world-class facilities to go with our world-class athletes and the world-class event, the Women's World Cup, that is coming here to Hindmarsh Stadium in Adelaide. So these facilities are a real uplift in what we've seen here at Hindmarsh Stadium. The facilities that were here before weren't up to scratch. We now have 4 unisex change rooms, which means, of course, we can play double headers, as we already have, so the women can play before or after the men, and we can have double header women's games, double header men's games, and they have the facilities that professional athletes deserve. So this is another example of our $400 million investment in sport here in South Australia to make sure that we have the facilities that will get South Australians more active. We know that if we can get every South Australian doing 150 minutes of exercise per week, we can save the health budget a massive $800 million a year. Hard to believe, but that is the benefit of sport and health. And we know through these times as well that with COVID and as we come out of COVID, getting people physically active is really important. But so too is the social aspect of sport, getting people out and about, having them interact, and generally just having communities come together, and sport does that so wonderfully well. So this is a really great outcome. We know that without this investment here into Hindmarsh Stadium, and this is stage 1 with the change rooms first, of course we wouldn't have got games for the Women's World Cup, and we're really excited about that in 2023. Of course, the World Cup is going to be great for Australia, but Adelaide, we know, will turn it on like nowhere else. So to be delivering these facilities is a real passion of the Marshall Liberal Government. Along with Hindmarsh Stadium, of course, we're investing heavily in State Sports Park out at Jepps Cross, a home for Football SA, and of course great facilities again for more junior players to be playing the game. And we know with the Women's World Cup coming, more women are going to be playing soccer, more young girls are going to be taking up the sport because they want to be like the 2 ladies standing behind me. They see their superstars play out here on Hindmarsh Stadium and they want to follow in their footsteps. So yeah, it is a great announcement. We're really excited and we look forward to showing you inside in a few moments' time.
How far along at the end of stage 1 is this compared to where you expected to be?
Yeah, everything's on time and on budget, which is really great news. The team's done an outstanding job. They've had to work around, of course, the A-League season and the W League seasons as well. But the plan in place by the team here at Hindmarsh Stadium has been exceptional, and what they've delivered so far is world class.
Moving forward in itself, what sort of inconveniences are there going to be with the other stages and future work?
Yeah, look, of course, more works to go on the other side of the ground. Of course, there's the media centre to come, the roof going on the stand. You can see just behind me to my left there as well. So that's going to be incredibly exciting. New Wi-Fi facilities, of course, LED signage around, and a new scoreboard as well. So the facilities are going to get revamped like never before. Really, this facility was left unattended and unloved for a long period of time. We've invested back in that, and what we've seen from that investment is we've got games for the Women's World Cup, and the Adelaide United Reds women's team and men's team will benefit from this for a long time to come.
Yeah, Minister, just back to the question, how is this going to impact games here and spectators in future works?
Yeah, so look, as we work through it, maybe Phil might talk more to the specifics of the actual build and the technicalities around it, but there is more to come. You know, putting the roof on, of course, that stand over there will be limited to its capacity for a period of time, but the works that have gone on have already had some limitations. You can see some of the seats covered as it stands, so there will be some limitations to Hindmarsh Stadium, but of course the Reds and the team will relay that to fans and spectators. But I think everyone is appreciative of what the end game is going to deliver, and that's a world-class facility here for our world-class athletes, so we can have a world-class event in the Women's World Cup. Would you like to speak to one of the girls?
Yeah, we would. Yeah, absolutely. Come on up.
Oh, I can take it off? I didn't think that was allowed.
You've already had one test drive with a double header. How'd you find the change room?
Oh, amazing. fantastic. It's a really great facility, and as a women's team, we love playing here. We always play well here, which is great. So facilities are great, and it's amazing to play double-headers.
What do you find the difference playing here compared to Marlon, for example?
The atmosphere itself, the field is obviously amazing, playing on that grass, but also, this is our home field for the club, and this is where we like to play.
Seen a lot of girls from Adelaide go on and have a chance at soccer at Matilda level. Is that something that you've got your eyes on with the World Cup next year?
Always. I think every player has that, and being at home in Australia for it makes it a little bit more of a want, and I'm definitely trying to get to there.
Have you spoken with any of perhaps the foreign girls in Adelaide or maybe across the league about what they're thinking? Likely it won't be Australia playing at Hyndman Marsh, about what they're thinking of this facility?
I think the best thing about it doesn't matter who plays here, it's got to be a high level game. International football is always great to watch, so whether it be Australia or other teams, us hosting, it's fantastic.
Is that the club's talked for a while now about aligning the men's and women's teams as much as they can. How much of a difference does it make having this unit exchange room and being able to be here with the men's squad and big crowds?
Yeah, it's always great. Lining up with the men, obviously more fans come out playing at Cooper's. It's a bit more inviting, so it's great to see the club bringing us together, making it a club more than two separate teams, which is important.
Do you feel it? Do you notice that? You've been playing for a long time.
Absolutely. The difference from when I started to now is unbelievable. The link we have, it's great, and it really shows that we're a club and we're united.
About the game this weekend, a bit of a chance to sort of claim a scout, one of the best teams.
It's huge. Melbourne City is sitting above us at the moment, so it's a big moment for us. We obviously lost the last time we played them, so we've got a point to prove, and proving that at Cooper's is the best possible thing for us.
You've lost the first one, was no good. Second game wasn't great, but you've sort of turned it around a fair bit since then.
Yeah, I think we're slowly getting our stride. A lot of new girls coming in, and you can see that each week we're improving, and I think we'll show it this weekend.
You only played 45 minutes last week, Isabel. Play 90 minutes this week.
I'm cleared for about 60 to 70, so each week getting better and better. So got a bit of a hamstring injury, so I'm coming back, but every minute on the field's great for me.
Yeah.
Great job.
On the matter that's been sort of dominating headlines within the league and sort of around the country with Josh. Can you talk to us about the club's decision to approach police? Why is that the case?
So obviously it was a matter of significance, and we discussed this a couple of days ago in terms of the ins and outs of it. But an all-encompassing investigation, we need to leave no stone unturned in terms of looking into it and seeing if there is any perpetrators that can be prosecuted from a stadium standpoint in the first instance. Social media trolling is not something that's new to Josh or any of our players. So it was incumbent on us just to look into it a little bit further and see what the course of action may be relative to some of the comments that were received online, which weren't necessarily related to the physical abuse on the Saturday night. As we know with social media, it's worldwide, so any anonymity of the accounts don't necessarily suggest that they're supporters from the game or linked to the A-League, but there were comments that Josh and we deemed weren't acceptable. So
What has the response from police been? Have they given you any preliminary feedback on this, an update? Are they open to this investigation? What's their response?
No, we're still looking through it all. I mean, this isn't something that, again, is new, unfortunately. We went, we investigated the Kosmina Yangi online abuse last year, so it's really fact-finding to understand, the thresholds and what social media is very grey. We found that when it's in stadium or in person, it's relatively black and white in terms of what can and can't be done. Social media, as I said, there is that anonymity. So we're just looking into exactly what that looks like in regards to some comments that came through on Sunday with Josh.
And how is Josh going? This has sort of been going for a couple of days now, and he's had an intense level of attention on him. How is he?
Yeah, he's good. So he's been training. So I returned to training Monday actually, but yesterday was our first proper session back. So again, I mean, not just to suggest that it's acceptable, but he takes it all in his stride. And for him, as he said from day one, it's all about the football for him. So we've taken on board, the investigation in terms of looking into it, as have Victory and the league, and let Josh just focus on football. So I spoke with him yesterday afternoon. He was in good spirits, and I think he's just really looking forward to getting back to playing on Saturday.
Do you think that there are elements of the league and of the game that need to join Josh and this club in the 21st century, essentially?
No, in what sense?
Well, this sort of pretty backwards sort of viewpoint, slurs in the game, so on social.
Well, I don't think it's unique to our sport, and I don't think it's unique to sport. I think this is something that in social media, commentary or even in stadium stuff happens everywhere, unfortunately. Again, that doesn't make it acceptable, but it's not something that's unique. Saturday night is not a one-off occurrence. It's somewhat unique in terms of the context of it relative to Josh, but our players have copped it before. We've seen it heavily in the AFL over the past few years, so it's something that we've made a stand against, and we hope that our supporters do as well. The Red Army are very proactive in promoting sort of inclusive messaging in terms of what they expect from their members. So I think it shines a light on, I don't think a broader issue, but a small element of professional sporting fans that sort of aren't really welcome.
Do you expect anything from the Red Army this week? I know they've been quite supportive of Josh.
I don't want to preempt or tell them what they need to do, but they've been really forthright in the past with this, so I expect they'll come out and in support of Josh. As you've seen at every game, and they've had their banners out for every game since the announcement in October last year, so I expect they'll be supportive as they always have been.
Get your opinion on the rooms from the club's perspective, to have it all aligned now and here?
Yeah, it's great. It's been long overdue. I mean, we last played, prior to our game last month, we last played a doubleheader here in January 2017 with the women's team in what was the old back gym out there with temporary air cons, and the away team in the Mountables, which at the time wasn't acceptable, but it was our only means to an end in giving the women's team the opportunity to play at the home of football in SA. So getting to experience it for the first time since 2017 last month was great. It's obviously better from a football perspective, as he said. The facilities are much better, but I think what's really good is it exposes the program to a much broader audience. As good as Martin is as a community facility, broader awareness of our women's team and allowing more fans to see them play really needs to be done here. I think the result of the match itself, it was one of the more enjoyable matches I've seen here in a long time last time around. So it's a good day out for the family. We hope more people coming along this Saturday as well.
I imagine you probably think it's pretty good timing with the way that last season went for the girls, and this season looks like it should go as well. They're in amongst it.
Yeah, our aspiration's always top four. We've said that publicly for the last 2 years. No secret that we haven't qualified before. Last year we were a kick away, quite literally. I think one more goal in that game here would have got us there. This year, as you alluded to, was a little bit slow. I think COVID, we've had disrupted pre-seasons for both the men and women. The ability to get players here has been staggered. We're now basically at that point where we've got the full strength squad. We've had some minutes under their belt and a few weeks of training, and I think the results over the last few weeks have shown that now. Hopefully we can take on the big boys in terms of City and really put forward our finals credentials for the win on the weekend.
Corey touched on that all the works were on time. At the moment, when's it looking like everything will be done?
Yeah, so we expect for the start of next season, we'll be back to Cooper Stadium at 100%. So that will include the Eastern Stand, as you can see, which is under construction at the moment. Change rooms are fully operational, but we'll have the new big screens in LED back to the full capacity as well, hopefully post-COVID. So a little bit disrupted this year, but we're still at a capacity over 12,000 in here for match day, which is good. But next season we expect to be back to 100%.
In line with what my good friends at Channel 7 reported last night, have you got anything to say about Lockie Brook and the prospect of him playing for the Reds?
No, we'll leave that to we'll leave any speculation or formalising of any announcements to the media team.
Have you been around the club?
I believe he's in Adelaide. I think, yeah. He's an Adelaide boy. He's an Adelaide boy, though. That could be a coincidence. He might be here on holiday.